Cam ready, we go ham. It's your boy Tony G, Big Lou, Tony G, Big Lou, the sports book every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. Lots of sports to cover tonight. Thanks to everyone tuning in. The Preakness was a great race. Journalism won. Goose Goosker, I guess that's how you say it, came in second, and the Sandman came in third. Should be a great race. Um,
Oh man.
Great race coming for the Belmont. I want to thank my guys out there at Cypress Solar and Roofing for having me out there at the track. Really appreciate it. It was a good day. Um, yeah, it was kind of nice. Wasn't a big crowd out there at the Downs, but we still had a good time. And if you watched it was a heck of a race. Journalism came back after being severely bumped. I thought there was going to be a disqualification, but there wasn't. So paid well. It should be, like I said, should be a good run coming to Belmont. Now let's get into some basketball. 'Cause holy cow!
Holy cow.
Well, I mean, would you have thought that the Cavs, Boston, wouldn't be in the
No,
would,
in the Eastern Conference Finals, I know because Cleveland played so outstanding during the regular season and during these playoffs a little bit. They just came up a little short. And now I've been hearing throughout the sports media world, everybody's chiming in on Donovan Mitchell. Everybody
right,
said it's Utah all over again. They dominate during the regular season, they get in the playoffs, and then they just crash. So now it's a Donovan Mitchell thing. I don't think so. Um, I just think when it comes, like we always say, regardless of what sport it is, the playoffs is a different animal. It's way different than the regular season because there's more intensity involved. Refs took their whistles and they let the game dictate the outcome unless they necessarily have to step in, and make a decision. They try their best to avoid that,
right.
but they let them play the game, and then when you play a team, when you got to beat a team four times out of seven, then you learn, who the weak link is, who's not, putting all that effort into it. It's different. Playoff basketball is different. Kudos to the Cavs, kudos to the Celtics, but Jason Tatum getting hurt kind of put a
Definitely.
monkey wrench. Yeah, that put a monkey wrench in their plans, just like with Steph in Golden State and other injuries. And we're gonna get with we're gonna talk about Denver and the Timberwolves in a second, but injuries happen. It's part of the game. And other guys have to step up. Now, asking your bench guys to step up on that stage is a pretty big task, but that's what they get paid the bucks for, and that's what they have the talent for. But
This is
it's
that is
just,
very.
yeah,
But you look at the series, you break them down like Cavaliers, Pacers. The Pacers were in total command from the get go. Um,
hmm
I mean, the Pacers were playing lights out. The Cavs did manage to win one game. They had their way with them. I mean, man, hats off to the Pacers. There's no doubt. And then when you go
right.
to the Knicks and Celtics, like you said, with the injury, um, they just it wasn't enough there, and they lost 4-2. And
Mhm.
the Knicks they put this team together to win. I mean they got some. I mean, Knicks are playing on a whole different level. I mean, at the end of to beat ball, I mean, to be able to beat them, you ain't beat them all season, and they come in the
Right.
playoffs. The Knicks are definitely a threat. Nothing to take light. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not. I wasn't. I didn't think they could beat them. I didn't think they were gonna make it this far. I'm not gonna
I'm not
lie and
going.
say, oh yeah, I saw it. No, I didn't. I did not. I
I
did not
didn't.
see it. Yeah.
I did.
Um,
I didn't see it either. I didn't see it either. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, Tony. I was one of those ones that didn't think that New York was going to get past Boston. I thought it was going to be a 7-game series, but I didn't think that they were going to get past Boston. And they proved me wrong. They proved me different. as much as I say, New York basketball is needed in the postseason, and it
Right.
showed up. And now they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's going to be, and everyone's going to be there. They're going to take it back to the Knicks Pacers playoff back in the day with Reggie Miller, and with Patrick Ewing and all those guys. I know they're going to be there every game, so it's going to be exciting. I sometimes we think that basketball is going to fall a little bit because we don't have the normal stars that we're used to talking about and seeing on TV all the time. But any type of playoff basketball, any type of basketball to me is exciting. Because
What
I study the sport, and it's just exciting to me. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm glad that and even though I didn't believe they would win it, I'm glad that they are, and I'm glad that they did because this Eastern Conference Finals is going to be extraordinary. It's going to be a big, big deal.
I definitely, I definitely agree. Um, and when the Pacers beat the Bucks, I was like, oh, okay. Um, and then they came in the way they played. They win a 4-1. And the Knicks, like I said, they played tough, and Celtics just didn't have the answer for them. The injuries, it just wasn't. So now you got the Pacers and the Knicks. Game one, May 21st. And of course, Indiana Pacers are going to be the underdog. Have they been the underdog every single game?
Right.
Which
Even
is
though they've
which,
been to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, they're still the underdog to those Knicks.
yeah. So they're giving, they're the Knicks are -4.5. This is going to be a really good series. You can get some action on. You can get some action on the winner of the series. Uh, and then it should be a high scoring. I mean, they both can put up some points. I don't see it being a defense. So let me break. So let's go. Let's go. And I want to bring this up to you. So let's go to the Western Conference. So we got the Thunder. They beat the Grizzlies 4-0. Weren't surprised. And then they go to the Thunder. And then the Thunder goes to the Nuggets. It goes to game 7. And it was like, which was kind of threw me off. One game, the 3 games that Denver won were super tight, super physical. They were there. They kept it. I mean, they kind of, I wouldn't say manhandled, but they grinded it out, played Denver ball,
Mhm.
and they won 3 of those games playing that way.
Yeah.
The games that the Thunder won, when they did win, was just wide open. They couldn't do anything with them. Once,
Right.
once I saw that Denver, because it was pretty close early, and then once I saw Denver went down 20, it was over. I said, "Oh,
It was
they can't
over.
come back. They're just not built
Right.
like that." So it
Mm-mm.
brought up, so it, I'm not gonna say concerns, but it is something that, I mean, Denver did take him to a 7-game series, and it was grindy, and it was, I mean, I know they did blow them out last night, and they won by almost 30 points. But I don't know, just the games that they did lose, which was 3, they were
Mhm.
they were being handled, and I just don't see. And then you got the Timberwolves and the Warriors. Steph goes down. The Smalls finally ran out. I mean, it was all right. And I don't think, I know the Timberwolves are talking a little smack. I just don't see the Timberwolves be able to grind them out, like Denver did. Even though they got
Right.
I don't see it happening, because I think that's the only way you beat them.
Mhm.
I do. I think
And
you get shoot out with them ain't working.
right. And I also think that Rudy Gobert has to have one of those games. And we haven't, we've seen some outstanding play from him, but he's got to have that outstanding game every game because you got some guys now that, you got some size on you now. You know, Clippers was a small team. So they
Yes,
was able to do what they could do with him. They already knew the game plan for Draymond, and they knew after Draymond, you know, Kaminga and those guys haven't reached that. apex yet where they can doesn't matter who's on the court, I'm going to show up. They
Yes.
haven't reached that part in their career yet. So you have that element, and you also have the fact that SGA is playing out of his mind. His role players are playing out of their minds as well. And who has the better bench? I say OKC.
Yeah, there's no, and like I said, you look at the Thunder and Nugget, and I'm going to correct myself. So game four, Thunder only won by 6. That was a
Mm-hmm.
winnable game. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this series could have went. It could have went, and my hats off to Denver for hanging in there with what they were working with. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
their bench ain't like it once was, and but everybody played well, so hats off to them. But then when you go to, like you said, the Timberwolves, you go to the Timberwolves, and they're gonna have to play. They're gonna have to be on their. They're gonna have to be on every night, I think, to beat. I think because I won't be surprised if they come out um, and come up 2-zip. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if KC wins by 20 the first night. I just don't know if they're ready for the firepower. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and they're rested. I mean, they're well rested. It's been over a week.
Yeah.
So I mean, and Edwards is going to he's going to have to live up to everything. Uh,
Mm-hmm. And Julius Randle has to continue to play the way he's been playing because he's been playing excellent. He's been
yeah,
playing excellent. Where was this guy? But I'm not even, my team is irrelevant, so we're not going to even bring them up. But like, where was this guy then?
right.
He played, he has a tenacity about him, and it's great because it worked for him and it worked against the Denver Nuggets, and now they're planning their Cancun trip. So,
Yeah,
so now, of course, like sports broadcasters do, we like to talk about, okay, what the team that lost, what happens to them? Do they run it back? Do they make some changes? I think that Denver has to get that bench in order. They need the bench they had when they won their championship. When they
agree.
lost that, when they lost that bench, and they lost their tenacity. So I think that's what it is because uh you're good with Jokic. You're good with Murray, you know. And after that, and you're good with Gordon. So you got your three nucleus. Gordon, Murray, Jokic. So you're good with those three. Now, what can you add to that formula to get them over the hump? Or, because Anthony Edwards is coming, every time he's gonna bring it to the court. Every time. And he's showing it. And he's getting his guys involved. So whenever they told him during uh during the Olympics, he must have soaked it in because you can see it now. Well, I picked, from playing with those superstars on, on that stage and learning, when to let people, when you see people, learning when people get in their groove, letting them have that and letting them do their thing. So I think he's picking that up. And kudos to him, bro. Kudos to Anthony Edwards. He's turning out to be the player that everybody anticipated. And like I said, it's gonna be Denver's got to get their bench in order. Bring it all back home. Denver has to fix their bench. They got the starters in play that they need. They need to fix their bench.
Well, there's a lot of questions. Can the Celtics keep the team together with all the contracts going? That's a question.
I
Cavaliers the
don't.
same. Yeah, I don't right. And then Golden State. What's Golden State going to do? Because obviously you got to get a big. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I don't know how many more years Steph and Green have playing. I'm sure they got another 2. Um,
Hmm.
but to have a serious conversation of going, yeah, we're gonna really have make a run. You got to
Hmm.
have a big.
Gotta
Um,
have big. And even
yeah, so
Giannis is putting out there that, he may or may not be playing with free agency
yeah, I
because they
think
got a lot of
yeah,
work to do up there.
they do. There's rumors they could go to New York, but you have to think, can New York keep all that? Um, I think they're designed to go another year. Um,
They'll
but we'll
definitely
see.
give up Cat, I think. They'll definitely give
Yeah,
up Cat, I think.
yeah,
They'll send
they got
Cat
to
to Milwaukee. Yeah, they got to move a lot of pieces
yeah, they got to move a lot of pieces. I think
for one guy.
um
So do you? So if it was an organization, would you want to do that though? I mean, especially now that you finally got back into, conference championship and playoff, you got back into that. Do you and you're in the Eastern Conference Finals with a good shot of going to the finals? Do you really want to blow that up to get a superstar like Giannis? And then
you
he's
know,
got to learn how to gel with the guys, and you already got a team that's set. So, there's something to think about.
New York basketball was bad for so long and the
Yeah.
fans still came. Um your invoice Beasley, this invoice hasn't been opened yet. So that being said, that being said, I think it is important because last night, or the other night when they played, I mean, Chuck D was there. You know what I'm saying? Chuck D was there.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, it was
like
like
all of the
you never
greats. Yeah,
know.
everyone was
Yeah,
there.
every star that there's so many stars that live in New York City that were at that game. It was really, it's really something to see it. It kind of brings it all back. I'm sure game one, uh, we'll see all kind of stars. It'll be star studded. Um, and it is, and I mean, like I said, it's good. It's been a while, and I think the Knicks are in a position to they have a shot. They have a real shot of going to the finals. Um, and if they can stay healthy, they have a shot. Whoever they may face. The Knicks are opening up as -4.5, 110. Indianapolis, I mean, Pacers are +4. Now the Timberwolves are coming in +7.5. Um, and then OKC -7. The only thing is like I said, when you're doing we get back to gambling. When you're doing the props with OKC, they will pull when they get up 20, 30 points. You know what I mean? So that's something that you got to
Mhm.
watch. Uh, they will pull them quick. If they pop off on, like, if you take let's go there. So you take SGA tomorrow. I mean, when they play 33 points, well, if they go up, I mean, he may have 17 in the first half, but if they're up by 20 in the first half, he's very limited. It's just stuff you gotta. It's just stuff that you have to kind of consider and remember that what you want is it to be a very tight game. And people always ask me, and I'm going to give you. This happened to me last night live, and that's why I tell y'all, live is there's money to be made. Last night, watching games, watching baseball live, eighth inning, Yankees and the Mets on my screen. It says over 5.5. Now it's the eighth inning. It's got two people on base, second and third, one out.
Right.
Still offering 5.5. You can't get better than that, but you got to
Mm-mm.
press it quick. Hit it quick, booyah. Won it by the next, and then the Yankees hit a grand slam. It was just like I said, you just got to be paying attention to the live, because there's money to be made there. Same thing with basketball. I mean, it's going to be changing the whole time while these games are on, and you just got to
Mm.
kind of watch and see who's giving you the best number to gamble on. I mean, you just have to kind of watch it and see. Try not to give up too much juice. And there'll be a lot. Like I said, Sean Alexander's at 33. Anthony Edwards is at 27. Jalen Williams is at 21. Julius Randle, who averages 19, they got him at 20. That's real doable. Um,
Mhm.
uh, Chet Holmgren, he's another one. He can get on a little. on a little hiatus there, and definitely.
Mhm.
So what are you thinking? You're thinking? Do you think the Knicks and the Pacers go seven, or you think the Knicks? What's your thoughts on that series?
I think Knicks and Pacers are definitely going seven. I think that's going to be a 7 game series
I'm
because
thinking the
even
same
though
thing.
yeah, because even though we still because of the way that that Halliburton plays and his kind of away from the limelight demeanor, we
Yeah,
kind of because of how he is in front of the camera, we try to place his game on that same level, and we'll be wrong to do that. These guys were Eastern Conference champions last year too, and we forget that because they because of the type of basketball they play. It's Indiana basketball, but it's effective and it works, and it got them past the Cavs, and it got them to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think it's going Sith. I
I
do
agree.
not think that those guys are gonna I know they're not getting sweet. And we may make it to, and it may be a 6 game, but I believe that it's going seven because of the fact that there's two different styles of play, even though New York can get up and down the court too. But it
Yeah,
seems like that's what Indiana is made of. And if they're hidden, if their shots are hidden, and yeah, they're gonna be a problem. But yes, I think it's going seven. I think it's going seven.
and I agree with you. I really do. I think they I think Indiana's going to try to pick up the pace. You know what I mean? And it's going to be wide open. Um, I mean that's how they play. So I think that's definitely it's going to be like I said, it's going to be a really good series. Like I said, they handled like I said they handled the Cavs. I mean that was the number one team. At one point they were the number one team in the NBA, and then they like I said they
Mhm.
had problems at the end of the season. Uh, and because we were talking about it, and they lost like 3-4 in a row, and I was like, huh. Um, but it definitely happens. Now on the other side of the ball, Thunder and Timberwolves. I'm not taking anything away from the Timberwolves, but I think this is a 5 game. I don't see the Timberwolves unless they got an answer. Um, I see them going home in five.
Because they got two big bodies to put on Rudy Gobert to make it difficult for him.
Right.
Last series, it wasn't difficult for him because there were not two people, making him work for his shots. And that's what's going to be going on this series. You got Chet, and you also have your other guys that are going to, in rotation, get him off his spots, make it very uncomfortable. When you make a big uncomfortable, when he can't get to his go-to spots, then that's when the frustration sets in. That's when you have missed opportunities like layups, putbacks, offensive rebounds. Those are the type of things, those easy points is what you lose when somebody's always fighting on you for position, getting in the way of you getting your shot and creating what you like to do once they get you off your mark. So that's the
It's
problems that Rudy Gobert is going to have to deal with as far as like the big guys.
so here's a funny fact. You mentioned that, and they just how they got to where they are, Western Conference. They just beat two small teams. It's just interesting that you said that, and I was looking at it going, well, they beat the Lakers, small team.
Small
They
team,
beat they beat the Warriors, another small team.
small team.
So the road, we talk about this. It all depends how much. I mean, some people have an easier road. It's just
Mhm.
how it works out. I'm not saying that it take anything away from the Lakers or the Timberwolves, but they were small teams, and now you're playing the treetops.
Yes.
that can shoot the ball,
That could
that play
shoot
real
inside,
well together.
outside. Right.
Right. And they got a small that runs up and down the courts, shooting 30 footers, 40 footers like it's nothing, because he ain't got to work at it because they got him
Mhm.
covered. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
that's really a lot. I mean, the setup that the Thunder has is really kind of genius. We're going to do this. This is our guy, and we're going to benefit him and everything around. They all work well off each other. Um,
Yes.
and so this is, and so all saying all that to say, yes, the Timberwolves may be in for one, especially game one. Haven't you
Mhm.
know? I mean, because you just come off two series of that's not how it was going to be because they didn't have the manpower, but now you're coming and now they're going to make you feel uncomfortable, make you work for everything. Going to be like I said, I like the Thunder game one. I like them like by 10. I mean, I really
Mhm.
do. I'm not saying the Timberwolves won't be able to regroup and win a game. I just think the Thunder, provided no injuries, um, I think the Timberwolves, they've had two series that aren't going to be this series. I mean, I guess it don't sound good, but it is what it is. I guess at
Yeah,
that
we
point,
understand.
but
Right.
yeah, we'll see. There ain't going to be no doubt, and it's not going to be, um, the way they kind of did what they want with the Warriors or the way they posted up on the Lakers. It's going to be a totally different game. All right, guys, we got basketball. Got it on the wing. Ain't a whole lot going on. We still got baseball. We got some hockey. Got the stars
Yep.
are in it. And we got the about to see who about to see who's going to be in the Stanley Cup. You got the Panthers and the Hurricanes, and then you got Edmonton. Oh, and you got
Awesome.
yeah, yeah, and then you got Dallas and Edmonton. Will be another good winners of those. Will both go to
That's
the
gonna be
Stanley
a good.
Cup.
That's a
Going to be
good
a great,
setup
yeah,
right there,
yeah. That is going to
man.
be a
I'm
great,
gonna have to get.
great.
So that's on
Get your
Peacock, right?
popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's yeah,
yeah. So I'm gonna make sure that I get some of that in. That sounds like a great
yeah.
setup. I'm gonna have to
It does.
get some of this in.
So I want to thank everyone for tuning in every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. Tony G, Big Lou. Remember, hit us up on Facebook, Sportsbook, or KM Radio. Give us a call. You got a public event. Stay on the station 24 hours a day. Great programming. All right, guys, we'll catch you next week. It's your boy, Tony G and Big Lou on the Sports Book every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock on KM Radio, where we go ham.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah.